Hello, darling. Welcome back. So this is today's second neuro nugget, guys, because although I don't have too much time, I want to talk about Brian Kohberger's potentially very complicated love life, right? Because when people are looking at serial killers or alleged serial killers or people who commit crimes, kind of like the IDAHO4, we're always wanting to learn a little bit more about the person who is accused of committing the crime. And often their love life comes up because, like Ted Bundy, for example, his love life very, very complicated, and people have speculated with Brian Kohberger, was it this very complicated love life? Did he have problems with women? Did he have problems socializing with the opposite gender? And if so, could this have led him to commit the IDAHO4? So of course, we know that most people here, we have a certain theory of Brian Kohberger, right? But we're going to be as unbiased as possible. So please just keep an open mind. And this is a video for the people who don't know every detail that there is to be known about Kohberger. That being said, we're basically 2 years into the crime, right? So if you've been keeping tabs on this case since the beginning, like, you probably know everything. So this video might not be for you. You don't have to let me know in the comments. Like, Nico, we already know this. You don't have to let me know. You can just skip the video, okay? So, phonetics, don't worry. If you make a typo, phonetics, and you feel like you need to delete it, delete it. Again, I was just double checking because we know that there are a lot of people harassing people in the chat every now and then. Every now and then we'll get a crazy person. So if that's the case, guys, just let me know and I will ban them. I don't necessarily like to ban people if they're just disagreeing, right? Like, I don't care. But if they're being disrespectful and just weird and creepy, we will ban them. This is not the channel for them to come over and spew hate. So for those of you guys coming in here, we're going to be talking about Mr. Kohberger's very complicated love life. That's what the folks are saying. And it's important that we cover this again because it's almost 2025, meaning that we are closer to the case beginning, meaning that these things may come up at trial, right? Why? Because the state is going to try to paint a picture, a very specific picture of Brian Kohberger. They're going to try to paint him as an incel, socially awkward, bad with women, and it just can really change the perception that people have of Brian Kohberger when they know more about his love life, if he even had a love life, right? Because nothing has really been verified. That's the problem with all of this. So the first person I'm going to talk about is Ashley Fugate, Flugel, and this was one of the first articles that I saw that had anything to do with women and Brian Kohberger. We don't know where these news channels are getting their information, so be very careful with what type of information you consume, and we never really know what's real and what isn't, right? That being said, Ashley Fugate can't really make a comment, right? Like, I can't call her and try to question her because she actually passed away in 2018 of an alleged heroin overdose, right? And as we all have heard, Kohberger allegedly used to once heavily use this drug, right? But it seems that he got clean and maybe her death scared him into getting sober. Those are some of the speculations, or was it something else? So in the early days, they believed that Ashley Fugate and Brian Kohberger was dating, right? They try to make it seem like it was his girlfriend and they did drugs together and they hung out, and that Ashley actually was gay. She was a lesbian. She was into women. So That's where the speculation begins, guys. They're like, oh my God, what type of man would date a woman who likes other women? Like, was she just seeing Brian Kohberger because, like, why? Why would she date? The nature of this relationship has never been verified, right? Because we have seen lots of articles saying that they were actually dating. And then there's other articles saying that, well, it was just a girlfriend, like a female friend, like they were just friends. But again, we have no confirmation of this. We also don't have any confirmation, actual confirmation, to know if they were actually using drugs together. But if there are any legal documents or any people that knew them in their past where they used to use drugs together, then that could come out at trial, right? Owen Gordon, she was using him as her beard. And that's very possible, right? Especially if Fugate came out as lesbian. That being said, her death in 2018 allegedly probed a police investigation into Kohberger. Some people have said that the first suspect of her death was Kohberger. And then they found out that, oh, it was just an overdose, right? So back in 2018, people were like, oh. Back in 2022, people were like, well, was he involved? Was he not? And we know that they tried to bring this back up, right? Once we knew that it was Kohberger who was allegedly involved in the IDAHO4, all this came back out, right? They're like, hey, this was more like a drug friend, not so much somebody that he was dating. It was more like a drug friend that they used together. But we don't have any social media evidence of any of this, right? Now, I'm going to bring up the Tinder date as well. And I know I covered this, like at the very early days of this channel, I talked about the Tinder date. And if you have been here since the beginning, guys, and you already know how I feel about the Tinder date girl, let me pull up the chat here. Oh, I forgot about my tea. Rooibos. You guys know the Tinder date woman, right? The Tinder date woman who kept saying that Brian Kohberger kept trying to touch her. And look, I've never used Tinder. I've never used dating apps, right? I'm like in my 40s. I'm old. And I'm honestly paranoid of dating apps. Like I wouldn't want my daughter to use a dating app. They creep me the hell out, right? But this is not me trying to paint this Tinder woman that Kohberger met with as in a certain way, in a certain light. But I'm going to, damn it. Okay. So this woman, okay, said that she matched with Kohberger in the dating app, and it was on Tinder. It was on Tinder, right? And then they talked for hours, and then he asked her like, "Hey, do you want to go to the movies with me?" And so they went to the movies, right? Hold on. The chat is acting crazy. It's just like scrolling. What is it doing? I think I need a new laptop. What is it doing? Oh my God. I think I'm going to need to buy a new laptop. Boop, beep, boop. It's like freezing. Truth Exposed. Hi, I see you guys. Hi, Owen Gordon, the man wore size 13. Phonetics. Cute stockings, thank you. Are you at home? Your house looks beautiful. I am. It's a small little place in Chicago. My husband actually helped me put up all this stuff on Sunday. It was exhausting to put all this stuff away. All the fall stuff away. I want to see pictures of your guys' tree. So if you guys are on Instagram, find me on Instagram and send me pictures. I want to see your guys' tree. Hi, Jill. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Cat. Hi, Jill. Hi, Phonetics. Hi, Owen. Hi, Cammy. Hi, Truth Exposed. Hi, Angela. Everybody's here. The whole family's here. Oh, you guys are so sweet. You guys like the Christmas tree. Thank you. Hold on. I had something pulled up here. This is so annoying. And I'm like blind in one eye almost. So my eyes are getting tired. This one. Okay, thank goodness. Here we go. Please, if you guys are nerdy, techie people, let me know if there's like a decent laptop that's not $100, that's like under $500. I can't afford one of those $1,000 laptops at the moment. Maybe in the future. But anyway, she met Brian Kohberger through a dating app, right? And again, I'm not going to judge. If you are a woman and you feel like you want to meet a stranger and take him to your house, like, so be it. But I would never. I'm too freaking paranoid for that. But she took him to his house. Right? And then, I'm sorry, but most men, I would think that if you're a female after a date and you're inviting him over to your house where you have no people in, by the way, right? We know that this woman was alone. She lived alone. There was no other people in there. Meaning what? Meaning that she had to have felt safe enough to bring a stranger that you just freaking met over to your house. I'm sorry, but it took me like months to go to my husband's place when I met him. It's like, we can go on dates, we can go eat, we can go walk around in a public place, but I'm not going to your house. I don't know you like that. You might kill me. And again, it's that military mentality. You have to be cautious of everything. But nonetheless, this woman felt safe enough to take Kobe back home, Kohberger, right? And so she did. And then she goes on TikTok post-crime and it's like, oh my God, he was being so creepy. He tried to touch me. Bitch, I'm sorry, but I understand, right? That not like bringing a man into your house doesn't mean that he's allowed to touch you, but you're sitting on the same couch, you're close to each other, you're alone. Like, I don't know, like it almost seems very normal that he would want to touch you, right? Especially if you're on a date. And that he kept asking if, like, he could kiss her. Like, oh my God, he actually asked? What a gentleman. What a gentleman, because not everybody asks these days, guys. Has Brian Kohberger ever actually dated anybody besides this woman on this Tinder date? Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you remember the 4chan, like back in the day, there were some rumors that he was allegedly dating some Asian woman that worked with him back at the university. Is this true? Is this not true? Is it normal that he's single and 28? Because a lot of guys at that age nowadays don't really have women in their lives, right? There's a lot of men where I work at, like late 20s, early 30s, they're not dating. They are just meeting women on apps, right? And I get the idea that this woman just went on TikTok to get views, right? She went on there to get views, and maybe that was not her intention, but that's what happened. Why wouldn't you talk about him before? Did she mention this to anyone before? Did she only mention her awkward date to people post IDAHO4? Now, this is what I thought was interesting. This is what this woman said. I wasn't because I was scared of him or like thought he would hurt me if I asked him to leave. It was just mostly because I'm socially awkward. I didn't know how to ask him to leave. She then She said then he sent her a message on Tinder saying he was leaving. Also, my plan worked. And then about an hour later, he texted me and said I had good birthing hips, so I never talked to him again. So this woman, instead of telling him to please leave or whatever, she pretended to be throwing up. But not because she was afraid of him, because she was socially awkward. So then what do we know? We know that he's really not scary. We know that she wasn't scared because she brought a stranger over. It was basically because she was basically awkward and she couldn't be a woman and be straightforward and say, hey, can you please leave? Because I'm just not feeling it. No, instead she pretended to fucking throw up. The woman said that she told Kohberger she was going to the bathroom in her dorm and that he followed her there. He didn't go in with me, but he stood outside the door and like, I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Why wouldn't he stand outside the door when you're telling him you're throwing up? Like that you don't feel good? I'm sorry, but like, isn't that the right thing to do? I feel like it would be more weird for him to be sitting on the couch. Like, oh, let that bitch throw up. Fuck it. And good birthing hips, like, I guess that's a little bit weird. But he could have said something else, right? Because she was asking, I believe she was asking like if she looked fat. What kind of woman does that on a first date? Do I look fat? Talk about socially awkward. Talk about putting a man in an awkward position. Asking a guy, do I look fat? What would you rather hear? Bitch, yeah, you do. You do look fat. Or would you rather hear, oh, well, you have good birthing hips. That's nice. That is so nice of, like, if somebody said that, good way to cover your tracks, Brian Kohberger, because he could have been a dick. He could have been a dick and been like, yeah, you're a fat biatch. And he stood outside the bathroom while she pretended to puke on top of that. He kept trying to touch me, not like inappropriately, just like trying to tickle and like rub my shoulders and stuff. And I was like, why are you touching me? Or what are you doing? That prompted Kohberger to get super serious. I'm like, well, yeah. Like, he's obviously trying to like be silly. Not all these guys are going to be extremely sexual, like from the get-go. They want to make you feel comfortable first, right? Like, maybe before they go in for a kiss, like they want you to feel comfortable with like you being tickled or shoulders rubbed. I guess not this woman. I guess she just wants it like straight to the meat and potatoes. I feel like he was trying to be a normal person. Like, I don't know. And then she's like, why are you touching me? Wouldn't that make you feel awkward? If you're a man in the chat, please let me know. Would that make you feel effing weird? Be honest. Because I'm trying to put myself in the shoes, not even of a man. Just like if I was on a date with a guy and I was trying to rub his shoulders and he tells me, what am I doing? Of course I'm going to get super serious, right? Right? He's like, I'm not. And I'm like, you are though. And he's like, I'm not touching you. Kind of like trying to gaslight me into thinking that he didn't touch me, which is weird. I don't know. This woman to me is weird. What kind of woman pretends to throw up? Bro, just tell him to leave, right? And I understand, right? I understand if you're afraid of a man and you fear for your safety, you're probably not going to ask the man to leave because we know that there are cases where men get violent. They get violent. They don't want to leave. As soon as you tell them, no, don't touch me, they go Jeffrey Dahmer on you, right? Right? But she said she wasn't afraid of him, so why not just be straightforward? Phonetic says, yep, I would find it awkward. Heck yeah. Just, she's strange. She is strange. And then we have, I believe it was a high school girlfriend or a crush. To me, she looks a little bit like KAYLEE. But she probably didn't look like that when they were dating, right? Kim Kennelly. She's blonde. She's got the fake blonde yellow hair. Very fake tan. Like, very much like Kaylee Goncalves, in my opinion. That, what is that? What is that look? She was like a cheerleader. Let me show y'all. Does she look a little bit like, wait, not that one. This one. That one. Hey, believe they dated when a long time ago.